grew up on the west side, and then they either moved out to North Las Vegas, which was the next place, and then other places, east side and things like that, which the city and everything was like, back then, it was so much chaos in certain areas, but then there was so much love and culture that we had back then. It was great. So I thank everybody for tuning in and listen. Click subscribe, hit like, and share. And let's get on with the show. I'm going to introduce y'all to my man, Mickey. Mickey, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, Mike? Magnificent Mike.
That's what it is.
Magnificent
You gave me
Mike.
that name, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? And this is the first time it's been aired at Magnificent Mike. This is the first time.
To me, you Magnificent Mike.
Yeah.
I call you Magnificent Mike because I've been watching you over the years. You just doing things, man. One of the reasons I like about you is you've always put West Las Vegas and a slight culture that we have and grew up on into everything that you do.
Oh, man.
And I think that's magnificent.
Guess what, though? Coming underneath you and some other guys, when I was young, I would come watch you play basketball. You had no clue that I was in the stands.
Had no clue.
No clue. And I remember the Willie Hicks, you know what I'm saying? After y'all, the Billy White, the Ramon Whites,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Mike Lees, the Ellis Blackmores. I remember that team from Western because I actually went to Western in my junior year, and
Okay.
I really wanted to play for Western for one reason, the jerseys. That
Man.
style of jersey was cold, man. How they came down, had the border across the bottom with the little.
Right. Back then they was called Marquettes. 'Cause Marquette University was the first college team that had those uniforms.
Yeah.
And they were called Marquettes. And going to Western was so unique because we had the sharpest uniforms, we had the greatest band. I mean, when we used to run out there on the court and the band used to and do our tip drills, everybody loved it. Going to Western High School, man, back during my time, man, let me tell you something. It was nothing like it. Those Marquette uniforms, man, was off the chain. Western High School, a lot of memories there that's dear to my heart. And I remember you told me this a few years ago that you used to watch me play ball. I had no clue. One of the things, Mike, you told me, and this is one of the other reasons why I got so much respect for your dad, Speed. He's a pastor now. You told me your daddy used to come watch us play the Doolittle Summer League. And you said he always wanted you to come watch me.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you something. It was a lot of us. But for you to just say he wanted you to watch me, man, that did something to my heart.
I knew your name back in the 70s. 79, 80. I knew your name. I knew what you looked like. When I seen you walking down the street, when I seen you driving, when I seen you in the store, wherever I seen you at, I knew exactly who you was. You know, Vegas back then was like, it was beautiful because it was a lot of fun. It was some neighborhoods that you just couldn't go in, like the Gerson. You couldn't go into Gerson if you didn't live over there, or you had connections with somebody directly over there.
Right. One of the things about the G's, I had no problem with the G's. A lot of the girls over there liked me. I remember we played in the Doolittle Summer League. The Doolittle Summer League was like a semi-pro league. I mean, it was all of us that played ball in one league because they wasn't looking at us in college the way they're looking at players in Vegas today. And we used to just put on a show. It was so much competitiveness and stuff like that. But I remember when we used to play the Gerson, the G's, they used to bring the whole G's to Doolittle. Everybody from the G's came to support, the guys that played on the basketball summer league team.
Who were some of the guys on that team?
They had a guy named Bruce. What was Bruce? Bruce died. I I can't remember exactly what Bruce's last name was, but he was about 6'3", 6'4", total jumping jack. They had another little guy on their team. What was his name? Little short dude. Bucket. They had a guy on their team named Bucket.
Yeah.
And he was a point guard. And I was a point guard and shooting guard, mostly shooting guard. But I had to play point sometimes, even at my height. And I remember they try to put Bucket on me. I'm not bragging. I was just tear him up, man. And a lot of the girls, you know, used to like me and stuff like that. And even the guys over there that play like Gus, Wayne Gant.
Was Wayne Gant tough? Could he play?
He could play.
Okay.
He could play. But I got a lot of respect for Wayne.
So when I was younger, I remember an incident with Gus where, you know, I used to hear about him playing basketball and he would bully and fight and things like that. Did you see any of that, like, growing up?
One of the things I respect about the G's, first of all, everybody knew don't mess with those guys. Don't mess. Those are some guys you just didn't want to mess with. Their neighborhood was right next. It was us, 40 block, and the G's. And we was always into it with the G's. When I grew up, we used to handle our business against the G's, you know, because that's just the way it was. It was a competitive thing. And the G's was just somebody that you just didn't want to play around with. But I had no problem going in the G's because I knew they respected me as a ball player. And they just kind of respected me because I used to go out with a couple of the girls over there, and I didn't go over there trying to act tough. But I do know that the G's is one of the neighborhoods that, honestly speaking, I look at the Jets, Marble Manor, Vegas Heights, Regal Estates, our neighborhood, Crib City, Cary Arms, Donald Street, in the neighborhood behind community college.
That's the hood.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm gonna say this here, and I'm not really glorifying toughness or violence or whatever like that, but the G's was really somewhere that you had to respect. That neighborhood was somewhere you had to respect. They did not play.
Yeah. So, like, what are, like, some of the names that you remember outside of Gus and Wayne Gant? You remember, I mean, they probably a little younger than you, Donald Byrd.
Yeah, I remember Donald Byrd. Donald Byrd and Pookie Red.
Yeah, and Pookie Red.
Them my guys. They was a little younger than me. Me and Donald Byrd was really good friends. But, you know, you got Danny McCoy. Yeah. You got the officers, you know, you got Leon Austin, who was an officer. You got Rob. Rob was a great guy. You just didn't want to mess with him. You got Marcus Brown, who has a clothing store over on D.
JB's.
Yeah, JB's 2 clothing store. He was a good athlete. He wasn't really just like a tough guy, but you never really wanted to mess with him. It was some guys over there, man, that I was glad that I got a little respect from them just because I was playing ball, and I never tried to act like I was tough. But I wasn't no chump either. That's right. And they knew that. But I wasn't going to go over there and try to act like, you know, I'm coming over there with my chest stuck out and stuff like that. I didn't go over there that much. But we all knew each other because later during the years of the, I guess you want to call gangs, the Rolling 60s Crips and the G's always were the two. I used to watch them get into it and stuff like that. But the G's, you know, I even respect, you know, and the G's also set a certain type of culture too.
Absolutely. You know, one thing I can say about the G's, very oriented family-wise. I mean, like right now, if they did an event, everybody from the Gerson that's been around, I mean, guys that, you know, didn't bang, and it ain't about banging, it's just about the neighborhood and the culture that they had delivered, and they gonna show up. They gonna show up. Right now, you still see maybe 6 or 7 of them still, together, moving around and enjoying life and things like that. Those dudes right there, man. I mean, I respect them all because. So in my sophomore year, I went to I went to Bonanza. So I used to get dropped off in the Gerson to catch the bus to go to school. But by then I had knew a few people over there. But when we were kids, my uncle lived over there, so we would be over there then. But me being an athlete, they had all knew who I was. But it was still like, I had to keep my eyes open. I had to, be paying attention because you just never know. Those dudes were their name. It stood for itself, and it was strong. And a lot of people couldn't even go over there. If you went over there, you probably would get beat up. You know, probably wouldn't make it home. Looking like you look when you left the house. So, but I was just fortunate just to be able to be around those dudes and get a chance to know a lot of them. And I'm still friends with a lot of them today. And I want to give a shout out to my man Charles Miller. They call him Kent. Kent was one of my partners that Kent, he went to Bonanza and we played basketball together. And, you always got somebody that you could goof around with, you know what I mean? And we would go around the school and, be all goofy and things like that. But even after school, we seen each other. And one thing that I missed, Kent's passed away now and rest in peace. But one thing that I missed, every time Kent seen me, you know what he used to say to me?
What's that?
Oh, hogging ass Mike Elliott. Some reason I used to just love to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the other things about the G's, like the unity that they had, they still got it. They had an event just this past summer, a neighborhood event at Doolittle Park. And they all, the ones that's living, they all was there. I went there anyway because I'm like family to the G's. Absolutely. They all know who I am.
I didn't show up, but I did see it on somebody's social media, and I was looking at just the unity, and so many people showed up. I seen you there. Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah,
and
took a lot of pictures.
Yeah, and they all know me. And
my man Outlaw was there.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about Killer Reg. Yeah,
Outlaw, shotgun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and even then, I still noticed how they had so much love for each other, and I just saw a perfect picture of unity, and that's one of the things, Magnificent Mike, that I'm about. I'm about unity, man.
No, you are, and you definitely you've supported me through some of my major events and some of my hard times of travel and things like that. Even though you didn't know anything about me or what I was doing, but you definitely helped out. And I appreciate you, Mickey, because when I look at you as like a big brother, you know what I mean? And I know I used to watch you do, I guess you would say, gatherings in the neighborhood, which was like some apartments, and you would be speaking and just kind of encouraging the people and speaking the language of the Bible. And I thought that was always cool because you always got a crowd of people.
Well, the reason why I did that because it was a giving back type. It was like giving back type events because one of the things I'm not proud of, but since I had to go through it, I'm glad I went through it because it's a testament of how good God is. But growing up, I was always popular in football and basketball. A lot of people keep forgetting I played football too, all the way up until my sophomore year. And I played for Western, and then I went on to play for Victor Valley, and I made first team All-League both years. Then the next year I went to UC Riverside, so I was always popular. But there was a 2-year period in my life where I got hooked on crack cocaine, a 2-year period. And I'm going to tell you something. Man, that was the worst 2 years of my life. And that's why I give back now, because I understand how it was. I was so hooked on on those drugs. I used to try to come out, and I did everything I could to come out, but I couldn't shake it. So one day, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was the same color as this sweatsuit. And I said, man, what am I doing? And I said, man, it's got to be something higher than AANA and stuff like that. Even though there's nothing wrong with those programs, they do use a lot of biblical principles and scriptures, you know, in that organization.
Man, hold on. Let's get back to you said you looked in the mirror, and when you looked in the mirror, it was like you was the color of the sweatsuit. I mean, that had to be a real. I mean, that had to wake you up. I mean, that had to be like, man, what the am I doing?
I just told myself, I said, this ain't Mickey. What am I doing? 2 years. I mean, I'm 6'3.5". I was 6'4", but after 2 years, two back surgeries, I think I'm 6'3.5" now. But I looked at myself and I weighed like 160 pounds, and I was looking at myself and my face was, and I just looked and I was dark, and you know, I just stopped and said, man, I took my mom and brothers and family through this. And I'm going to tell you something else too, Magnificent Mike, is a lot of people that looked up to me, a lot of them, there was a few of them that looked down on me at that time. There was a lot of those guys that looked down on me. There was a couple of guys, even though I knew who I was, but I still was ashamed. There's nothing wrong.
A lot of us went through that trial and error. I mean, a lot of us went through it. Some of us went through it in silence. Some of us went through it in the open. I remember when you was on your journey that 2 years. I seen you one time doing that, and it was walking up my mom's street. You remember that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still, I loved you and respected you because I know that when there's something good for you, it's gonna happen for you no matter what. And you always been a good person, and whatever you was going through at the time, I didn't look at you or look down on you. I just knew that one day, you know, we all gonna pass. But during that time, I knew that in this life that you would step out of that because of just what your accomplishments was growing up. And we all go through those trials and those eras. If we don't, we can't see the next thing. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they just automatically, and you know, they probably never went through anything in that sort, but there's something that people have went through in order to make success on the other side. I mean, and I commend you. I mean, it's like you did a 360-degree turn when a lot of people have stayed out there for 60 years, stayed out there for 40 years. People been out there for 20 years. It's people function and going to work every day and out there doing this stuff, you know, so.
Well, I couldn't do it, Magnificent
No.
Mike. There was a couple people that they knew who I was, and they knew I was just going through something.
What was one of the biggest situations that you went through when you was on that? Like, what was one of the things that you traveled and you did and you was like, dang, you know, whatever it was?
Well, one of the things I was, and everything I'm saying, Magnificent Mike, I'm not bragging. It's just the truth. But I was such a star in my neighborhood, and everybody just knew who I was. And in my neighborhood, I had got so bad, I used to just walk around the neighborhood smoked out. And some of the kids' moms used to see me. They could see this guy that was on the top of a mountain at one time that now he wasn't just in the valley. You know, sometimes you can be in the valley and you're looking up trying to find a way to get out. But I was in the valley still looking down because I'm going to tell you something. That was the worst part of my life. I felt defeated. I was lonely. I was ugly. I'm back to being beautiful again. 29 years I've been clean now. But there was a guy named Charles Richards. I'm gonna tell you what Chuck did. One day I kind of go over there sometime and just hang out with him because he didn't mind. And I remember one day he said, Mickey, you will come out of this one day. And he meant it. And he meant it. And I seen it in his eyes. He was one of the guys that during my journey encouraged me. Another guy that encouraged me on my journey of getting back to reality was Matthew Howard. Matthew Howard, I used to come by his house sometime. He didn't mind about just me coming over and He
Matthew
knew,
is that Matthew?
yeah, yeah, his
Yeah,
name is, I call
Matthew.
it Matt. Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I call it Matt. His name is Matthew.
Matthew.
And man, every time I see those two guys, man, I still right today remind them, and it's 29 years later, I still remind those guys, man, how much, just those words meant to me, and when I knew I couldn't come out of that by myself, I had to try something. So what helped me, everybody have their own path, but what helped me, I just stepped into a church, man. I stepped into a church one night and went to the altar and I was all messed up. My feet stunk. I had on some I had on a boot and a shoe. I had on a boot and a shoe. And
man, this not funny, but the vision of it would be comedy, but it's real life.
I had on a boot and a shoe. I went in, and man, I had my hair was 3 different colors. I had a peasy beard, and I just stayed there. I didn't care how nobody looked at me. And the pastor that was having it had a halfway house for guys coming off the streets. And I said, man, and he asked me to come in there. And I said, man, and I already knew, that's when I knew that God opened up doors that no man can close. And I went in that halfway house, and as soon as I walked in that magnificent bike, as soon as I walked in there, I knew I was safe. I already knew I was delivered. And that's how great God is. He knows everything before you can even think about it. He already got the answers. And I gave myself to the Lord. I learned the Bible. I studied. I did everything the pastor asked me to do. I didn't even go around my mom, the west side. All I did was work, church, and home. Work, church, and home. I just studied. I looked at all of the pastors on TV. And then I just started looking at myself. I started getting my skin color back. I got me a haircut. And then I got a job at McFugels. McFugels was on Washington and Rancho, where that big swap meet is. Now, there was a little furniture store there called McFugels. And I got a job there making $5.50 an hour. But I was happy and satisfied. I went from being a blackjack dealer at the Golden Nugget. And when you worked at the Golden Nugget as a dealer, man, you had all kind of fame. You got a job at the Nugget? And I was walking around proud and going back into my neighborhood, Big Six, and I had 2 Fleetwood Brohams, and one of them had Bad Boy in the license plate. Bad Boy. My mom used to always just tell me, you got all these friends, you Big Sixin', and she said, one day you gonna come down because of your pride. You too cocky and stuff like that. She was always telling me to humble myself, and I wouldn't. And and I guess the crack cocaine was my way of coming down.
Man, that right there is that's a whole podcast and a story in itself. That's like part 2, So that's a hell of a story. But to come out of it, I always appreciate the people that come out of it. We're going to take y'all right in here to a little break and let y'all check out the commercial.
Experience how to survive in America. This life, you're all we got. The VEG ringtone. People who wear this brand are people who care about human life. The ones who wear this brand look out for one another. The VEG ringtone. Get yours. TheVEGringtone.club. It's more than a brand. It's a way of life.
We back. Make sure y'all hit like, subscribe, and make sure y'all share this content. And you can leave a comment and all of that. We're here with Mickey Orman, and Mickey is giving you a trip through Vegas, you know what I mean? And mainly a lot of the things that he's seen growing up. And man, it's shocking to know that he went through this. A lot of people probably don't know, but now look at him today. And, you got him right there. What's up, Mick?
What's going on,
We back at it.
Yeah.
So even like after your trials and tribulation, politic wise, I normally see you a lot where you dealing with uh, politic situations, at least trying to bring unity and bring in community and trying to put together a plan to make something happen. I do see that in you, and I see a lot of that you're doing. What are some of the things that are in the way why we've lost everything that we had that was black owned in certain areas, such as like the Town Tavern? The Town Tavern was a black owned casino, the only black owned casino. The man, Babu, was grandfathered in, had everything that he needed. How come he couldn't get any assistance to help make that thing a lot larger than what it was before he's passed away?
You know, that also, I look at the Town Tavern. I used to ride by there, and it was such a monumental part of the historic West Las Vegas. And I just never understood how the leaders, the people that was in position, I don't know if they did the best they can, but it seemed like no one was really just trying. And now, I don't know if they were trying behind closed doors, but I mean, we lost the Moulin Rouge, we lost the Town Tavern, and there was a lot of black-owned stores on Jackson Street and around West Las Vegas that we just lost. And we saw a culture of things that was just lost. Now, we still had our culture. I remember the city councilman's name was Frank Hawkins. I went to school with Frank and grew up with him. One of the things I can say about Frank, I saw Frank Hawkins really fight. I really saw Frank Hawkins really fight, man, for West Las Vegas. Frank fought. Frank didn't play around but I never really understood why. I mean, we as a community didn't rally around to keep some of these things going. And but the thing about also is it was just such a culture there. But I never understood, Magnificent Mike, how these things just disappeared, man.
You had like People's Choice, you had Shays, you had the Town Tavern, of course, and the Heritage. All of these places were black owned, and I know when you're working for the city officials could go out and introduce people to your business that would help you make it grow. They could get funding from places to help you make things happen. And those are some of the things I felt like, me personally, I felt like if they go ahead and try to take the Town Tavern, and instead everybody was trying to steal the tavern. Everybody was trying to get it for a little or nothing, and trying to run Babu out and wait until he died. It was just so much crazy stuff. I mean, I remember Wash used to take the pictures, and they would be down in the tavern, and they had the jazz night, and they had the showroom down there. They had the restaurant. We would go in and eat breakfast all the time. And
the Town Tavern was also known for having those great breakfasts. And all of the black general contractors or black people that had businesses or used to grab people and go out and make their living, they had groups of people with them. But they would always take them to the Town Tavern for breakfast, man. The Town Tavern, it hurt my heart when I used to pay. The last 2 years, it was just sitting on property, and with homeless people around. And I was wondering, what's wrong? I mean, do anybody care about the Town Tavern? So I emailed, and it was just a lot of. I took pictures and posted them of the trash and stuff around it. So what I did do is I emailed and messaged William McCurdy, and I just talked to him about it, and he said he was going to do something about it. he was going to call the owners or the people that owned it at the time. And a couple of, maybe about a month later, I did see it cleaned up. So I think County Commissioner McCurdy did something about it. But I just think it should have been more done.
I think there could have been, because even right now that they got the money for the sidewalks over there, they put the sidewalks in, and that was like a lot of money that they had got to do that. I mean, it was, I forgot, it was, I know they had supposed to got like almost $500 million maybe to pass out to the businesses and things like that. I'm not sure exactly, so don't quote me on the price, the number, but it was somewhere real high. And, I know Mario's that people say got money from it, but who else?
Well, I look at, you said, I see how they did the sidewalks and stuff like that on Jackson Street. And I don't know, but the sidewalks was fine. What about just putting some black business on, helping some black business?
Well, see, because the thing was they found a way to get money for the streets. And the streets, some kind of way that they got money through that. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but the city gave them money to fix the streets because that's what they put in for. And when you're looking for those grants to say, you can get this, you can get that. And then when the government and the from Washington, D.C., they giving, states different things. And when they gave Nevada that, and I remember when Franklin Simpson passed away, that was in 2009, Franklin told me, if you know anybody that's part of the roads, get involved in it. That's where the money gonna be at. And that was in 2009, and they didn't start really using that money until 2023, 2024. And those are things that I do know. So it's like they not taking the right approach to the culture of what people want. And when you an elected official, you want to do what the people want and not just something that's going to put your name in a plaque on the wall or, give you status. You want to be able to do something that the people could benefit from and grow from and something that they'll always remember. I think that's greater than, pushing people away. I think that's greater. That's what I think.
Well, and I look at these grants things that you're talking about. I look at the grant, I'm just going to pivot a little bit and just talk about these grants. And it seemed like the people that's getting grants, it seems like it's a circle. It's a circle of people that get the grants. And there's a lot of people that's on the outside that's doing just as much as the people in that certain circle get that can't get them. They can have all their paperwork together. They can have everything together, but they don't get the grant. It just seems like it's a certain circle of people that get these grants. Oh, I've witnessed it.
Just recently we had a 1,000-man march here in Las Vegas at the statue right off of Martin Luther King and Cary. And just going to that event, and when you say circle, I'm going to be honest, when I went, I seen a lot of people that asked me to come to events that I never see at anything I've ever done. And I'd see a lot of people. So, you kind of start thinking, why these people don't come and support my events or my activity or something I'm doing? And I'm always coming to support other people's events. I'm always coming to bring people to events. I brought maybe 6 or 7 people with me because we were filming and we went live. So think of all the people that seen it. But I think for the promotion for it wasn't a great job at promoting because there wasn't 1,000 men out there. And then there wasn't 1,000 shirts for 1,000 people. When you separate yourself from the people and you become bigger than the people, you can't be bigger than the program. And I'm not speaking to anybody individually. I'm speaking to everybody. So all the people that had hands on putting this together, I'm talking to everybody that's a part of that. So this is not trying to bash you. I'm just telling you the truth about it. And on my show, we talk truth and we speak logic and we speak realism. And that's the only way it's going to be. When you're doing events and the events that you do, everybody should be awarded, and or at least give them the knowledge to know what's going to take place. If there was shirts that was being sold, then everybody should have knew that before the event, because there was a lot of people showed up in their shirts, and it's people wanted shirts, but there was nothing even said about the shirts. That's just one thing. Not only that, it wasn't. If we really need to do 1,000-man thing, we need 1,000 men there. How do you get 1,000 men there? You invite 1,000 people. You invite 5,000 people and get 1,000. You got to invite 5,000. So you got to have a database. You got to be able to reach people, and the people that you stay away from are the people that can help you reach those people, because it's not a one-person thing. It's a unity thing, and if we don't do it as a culture to the people, and this is just definitely we're talking a trip through Vegas, and these are things that took place over the past couple of months. And in order to make something grow and rise, people have to pull together a lot stronger and better than what they're doing. You can't just be smiling in people's face, and then once you walk away, it's like, hey, and then I think, myself personally, I think that was all for voter registration. I don't think that had nothing to do with us, 1,000-man march. That's just me personally. What's your personal opinion on it, Mick?
Okay, this is a podcast, and I'm speaking truth. I even look at the promotion of the 1,000-man march, and I remember the guy that put it on, that was doing most of the promotion. He posted on Messenger, if you from Las Vegas and don't come to the 1,000-man march, I don't have no respect for you. Man, hold on. In my head, I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I'm from Las Vegas, and there's a lot of people that's from Las Vegas that you're gonna need to get your number of 1,000 people. So you can't just say. So
would you say that people that heard that, and some people took it like, hey man, well if you think like that, I'm not coming, and that's why a lot of people didn't show up?
There's 100%. I met guys that say why they wasn't marching and why they weren't coming, and that was a big part of it. So and then I messaged him back, and I said, well, so if you from Las Vegas and you don't come to the 1,000-man march, you saying you don't got respect for him? And the answer was nope. Now, how can you try to how is that unity? How is that unity? So that means that you got all these people from Vegas that even if you faked it, just put them on this pedestal about how great Las Vegas is and how great the culture of Las Vegas is, and you guys had a big part of the culture of Las Vegas, and you want to say something like that, then I guess somebody told him to take it down. But I just thought that was very, very...
So, I mean, you're speaking of a guy that's a young dude, and I know exactly... and we all got room to grow, because once we was young, once upon a time, and our thought pattern was a little different, and the older you get, your thinking is a little different. But I know that with growth, hopefully the meaning is well, and with growth that it gets better. Because to do something like that in the Las Vegas period, just have to really, get back to what it was once before. I think the true leaders that are sitting back right now, there's a lot of leaders that are here in Vegas that just kind of sit back now and just kind of got out of the way. And for that purpose and that reason, I can't say for them why they did that, but a lot of people just tired, and they get tired.
Well, I'm just going to say this. I like unity. So no matter what I heard, there's room for people to grow. And I hope that the young man that said, I hope he learned from that. Because realistically, we had about 150 people march to the statue, and it was about another 100, maybe 150 there. And half of them was women. So we really only had about 150, not quite 200 guys there.
That's not even close to 1,000.
And
You know, I want to say, let me get to this. They had an event at Doolittle, and they had Stretch Sanders doing the event, and it was so many. It was just like doing one of the riot killings or something that happened. I think it was the George Floyd or whatever. But it was so many people at that park. That was 1,000 people, even though there was black, whites, Mexicans. So whatever they did to get that audience of people, you have to do the same thing again. You can't leave a person on. You can't do something you want to do and then put a person up and put them on or put them out front and ask them to do the same thing that you did for them, to do it for themselves. If it's going to be a group to put something together and get people out, I just had to cut you off and say that because I remember that event was so huge and so large that somebody else had to be behind it. And those people who was behind it should stay behind the events if it could generate the numbers like that and bring that many people to one gathering.
Yeah, well, one of the other things about a lot of the events that I've been seeing recently, there's no local, the only local people that get in these events is Lou Collins and Lawrence Weekly. Now hold on. Now I want everybody to don't stone me, but I think Lawrence Weekly is a West Side legend. He's a great dude too. I think Lou Collins is a great dude. That's one of my guys. But there's more West Las Vegas people that can do things also that need to represent Vegas also. It seems like it's always the same two people out front, and after that, it's all people that's not even from Vegas. Now, the people that's not from Vegas, man, it's great that they're here doing things, but the people, they really don't know Vegas.
They don't know people like Sudden Sam.
They don't. And I got on my page, I'm doing a historic West Las Vegas brotherhood list, and it's the brothers that grew up in Vegas in between that period of 1968 and around 1987, 85, 87. That's when the culture of Las Vegas was built, and none of these guys. A lot of these people.
So who is like one of the guys that you did your show on and you talked about? And let's just let the people know here too. Like because when you're from out of town and you come in and you're working, you don't know these people, but these people have made huge accomplishments here in Las Vegas, and they laid the groundwork. So who are 1, 2, 3 of them? You know.
Well, let me talk about this real quick.
Okay.
First of all, on my page, I have a historic West Side Brotherhood list. And it's a list of all of the brothers from 1968 till around 1985, 87 that helped build the culture. It is so many of us. It's a lot of us. They didn't have to be a politician, but you know, it was so much unity and culture. And before I go any further, Magnificent Mike, I want to say this. I've heard a couple of people on social media say, well, I hear people say Vegas ain't got no culture, and they don't know what they're talking about. Well, let me tell you something. The culture that's here, we built. And it seems like the people that's in position, I guess, most from out of town, to be honest with you, they don't even know us, and they don't even really want to know us. They don't really, because I believe they think that we're gonna steal some of their spotlight. But that's why I'm putting on a historic West Side neighborhood list. I mean, you got guys like, you gotta admit it, you got guys like Hen Hen. Hen been a pillar in the neighborhoods for years. You got Spud Johnson. You got what's the guy named Bobby McRoy. You got Wendell Williams. I mean, I can just go on and on and on.
Big Cheese,
You
you
know,
know,
it's-
they the
it's-
good fellas. Big
it's-
Cheese is they the good fellas, and I mean they have like an audience to where they watch the games, go golfing, and you don't see any of these people at the event. Why? Because of the right people ain't reaching out to them. And those people can make those events so much stronger and better. Just their presence, people knowing that they're going to be there. You got another 80 people that's going to show up. You know what I mean?
I see things that's going on right now. I guess I'm still trying to unify the people as much as I can. But it just seems like, I look on social media and it seems like people that just because they taking a picture or they in an event with the mayor, Shelley Berkeley, and Aaron Ford, just because they can say it's like a photo op. And I'm gonna tell you something, Magnificent Mike. I look at the Thanksgiving. It was great that everybody was serving, but it was way too many people giving out turkeys. You know, I mean, you got 500 people, somebody over here giving out 500 turkeys. I mean, all of that is good, but how come everybody just can't come together? It just seems like it's a certain circle that getting all of the, I guess you could call it press, but
For the other people that's doing, giving away things and not getting pressed, not getting, and if you're going to be the media, then be the media. And then some people, you know, as we do, we keep it real on this show. We're going to keep it 100 and everything that's said is factual. So fact check anything that you like. But we want to see progress in the city like other cities. And then this town is growing through the sports era, but through the communities and neighborhood, they study pulling it away. And one thing that Hen like to use, one thing that Hen like to say is they gutting it. I remember at 215, at 214 one day, I was right there on Comstock. And this was maybe 6, 7 years ago, maybe. It could have been a little longer, but it was 214. And when the bus pulled up and the kids got off the bus, I seen one black person get off the bus. Every other kid was Mexican. Every kid on there was Mexican. There was one black kid. So that means that one's a neighborhood that, you know, our community lived in are all being moving out. And who they putting over there is Hispanic people. They putting those people over there to claim everything that 106, 89106, what they're about to get is going to go to not the culture that we built or the culture that we were there. It's going to go to those people. And they're getting the benefits a lot more than any of us is. So there's got to be some changes done. There's got to be some things that, you know, people got to get their heads screwed on right, and they got to get out and put their foot forward, and then they got to make things happen, because it's not that it can't happen. It's the point is, when will it happen?
Well, I think it's going to be, I personally think it's going to be tough now, because I'm a piggyback on the culture in the historic West Las Vegas. You hear a lot of people talk about the historic West Las Vegas. They use that name, but they really have no idea the real historic West Las Vegas. They have no idea the unity we had. And it's the West Side we see right now is not the historic West Side culture that we built. So I think it's going to be tough to move that needle, because it's a different foundation that has been gutted, that's rising, that use the West Side. I look at like KCP, Doolittle, Jackson Street, and just the West Side in general. I look at all those places, people, and I see people going there, and a lot of people from out of town, but they really don't have a clue of the historic West Las Vegas. You know, if you didn't live it, I don't care what anybody say, you don't know. And that's why I'm doing my thing to recognize a lot of these guys, man. You know, you didn't have to be a part. It was just people that played ball and hung out on the West Side and in the neighborhoods that came together and stuff like that. But you know, I just hear people talking about the historic West Las Vegas, but they use the historic West Las Vegas, but you have no idea the history of West Las Vegas. Now, people in
there's even some people that lived here that became politicians that don't know nothing about the West Side. You know, there's people that was in office that don't know nothing about what the culture is really like because of the way they lived had nothing to do with that whole little layout of that black culture on the West Side.
I look at one of the clubs that used to be here called West Side Story.
West Side
and
Story?
West Side Story was the guy who built it. He called it West Side Story because there was a story to be told about the West Side. I know this one guy it was a movie just put out called Across the Tracks. And I'm going to tell you something. The movie I thought was excellent. But I didn't see no whole bunch of locals in there talking about the experiences that they grew up. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a great movie, and the guy that made that movie is a great dude, I heard. But I still wish that they would have got with some of the guys who really, truly grew up here, because there's people in that movie that ain't from here. So they don't know nothing about Across the Tracks. They've heard about it, but hopefully one day we'll get another shot. And it don't have to be me. It can be you. It can be Hen. It can be Spud. I mean, it's a lot of people that we can name. I'll take the back seat. But there are some people in Las Vegas that know the history of Las Vegas. And the history of Las Vegas, it really shouldn't be, if you're from out of town, and nothing against the people from out of town, but I'm just saying, if you wasn't from here, man, you don't know history of West Las Vegas.
If you don't know nothing, don't speak on nothing.
You can say, and it was just so much unity here. I mean, we had so much fun. I even remember in the neighborhoods, every now and then there was a fight.
Oh yeah.
It was a fight sometime. But then you still, a few months later or a few weeks later, we was all still together. It was so much fun. Now you guys probably hearing me brag and talk.
So let's say bragging and talking. Let's say being confident about your abilities.
I'm bragging and I'm being confident of what we accomplished in West Las Vegas, that somebody needs to tell the story. I'm not talking about, in the movie Across the Tracks, they did a great job, especially when people first started coming to Vegas. But once we got from 68 till around 85, 87, that was when the culture.
Larry Sight and Sound was on Orange. You know, you go get your mixtapes, your tapes with the scratching in it.
We had Homeboys. Homeboys was a store where we used to get our slacks from, and we used to get our name put on the pockets.
Right.
We had Homeboys. We had Larry Sight and Sound. We had New Breed. You know, we had that. I mean, it was a Heritage Lounge. And you know what? And I'm gonna tell you another thing. People don't talk much about Bob Bailey. People don't talk that much about John Edmond. You know, it's now they being replaced. It's people that's replacing these guys that you hear their names a lot, but they don't. When it comes to West Las Vegas, it should be West Las Vegas people talking about West Las Vegas. Interview some of those people. Put some of those people, you know, up front to talk about. And let me say this real quick. Another pillar in the community who I admired, I went to school with her, and she's a great dear friend of mine, is Kim Bailey.
Black Image.
Yeah, Black Image Magazine. Kim Bailey is doing her thing. I call Kim Bailey the mature voice of West Las Vegas. Now, she grew up in Bonanza Village. But like I said, all of the people in the blacks in all the other neighborhoods, everybody still migrated to hang out in West Las Vegas.
You remember the newspaper, The Voice?
I remember the Voice newspaper, man.
Ramon was Savoy.
Ramon Savoy. Ramon Savoy is a good dude.
He's still
too.
around to this day, and what he was doing was so fabulous. But then again, we didn't have people to come in and really help make that thing become a real live newspaper. And as you see, like the Nation of Islam, they're out there on the corners every day, and they got soldiers out there. But when Mr. Savoy was doing it, you know, there could have been a lot of people that could have been a part of that, because the information that was in there was all about us. It was all about us.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. Like I said, my heart in growing up in West Las Vegas, man. I know people that come out here and they talk about New York, they talk about Baltimore, they talk about Chicago, they talk about LA. But let me tell you something here. I put West Las Vegas. I'll put West Las Vegas up against any city, any major city, even though it wasn't as big, against any city. Because if you really notice, when people come to Vegas, they don't want to leave.
Absolutely.
And it's just that
they get stuck
spirit.
here.
It's that spirit that's here that we have. Amen. It's that spirit that we have. But I see people coming in here talking like they was tough and stuff like that. And really, I really see, honestly, some chump in a lot of them. And they come over here and they talk about they was tough. And you ain't fooling me because we from West Las Vegas.
What they say, far away, unseen, never heard, don't know much about you. You know what I mean? So listen, any last things that you want to say? We're going to come back and do a part 2, because this show is an hour show and our time is coming close to an end. But I'm definitely, I'm super happy to have Mickey on the show, and the information that we gave up today and things like that. Don't nobody get offended or get hurt. Just understand that we want improvement and better for everybody in Las Vegas. And it ain't just about me, or it ain't just about one person. It's about the city. And that's what we do. And that's why we started the VEG, because of what he was saying about everybody bragging about LA and New York. And, you know, you still got people in Las Vegas that wear the New York hat. You get the VEG. And also, I have, I'm gonna let Mickey say a few things, and then I'm gonna come right back to myself, because there's something that we're doing on this channel that I want y'all to really know about. So, Mick, you got 30 seconds to say something.
Well, I want to just let everybody know that's looking at this this podcast. If you're from out of town or here, it was nothing personal. It's just that my heart is dear to West Las Vegas. And there's more people that had played a big part in West Las Vegas than a few. So I'm just hoping in the future, I don't know how it's going to be done, but some of the people that grew up here get a little bit more action. I mean, some of the shows on some of the things on KCP, I mean, none of us are on KCP. So anyway, I just hope everybody heard my heart. You know, don't disrespect anybody, but everybody just be blessed. And remember, the historic West Las Vegas was something to be dealt with.
That's right. So as y'all see, I got on the Vegas Till I Die. And so if y'all want me to sponsor, if y'all want to sponsor the show and you want me to wear your gear or anything like that, like towards the end of the show or all through the show, you can also contact me at 702-859-8519, and we can work it out, make things work. And then this is Vegas Till I Die. This is one of the guys, that young dude, and I know his pops, and his pops came to me and said, hey man, look, this is my son thing, and you know, you know, hey, let's work something out. So this right here is for them, and make sure y'all look out for this right here, because it'll definitely be jumping off in a minute. So Mickey, we're going to tell everybody, you know, how we doing this. And also, this is another one right here. So if y'all see this, this is GPMG Media Group. So there's people that are sponsoring the show, and also Sammy's Pizza down on Las Vegas, After Hours Pizza on Las Vegas Boulevard. We normally have the strolling text at the bottom, but today that didn't happen. So make sure y'all enjoy everything, and for Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's, everything that's right here, what we just had yesterday. Thanksgiving was yesterday. So for Christmas and New Year's, you make sure y'all have a good and safe. Make sure y'all make it to the following year, because there's a lot that goes on in the city. There's a lot that's taking place, and we give y'all all of the utmost respect for everybody that's watching the show. Make sure you don't forget to click subscribe, hit like, and share. And we'll get with y'all another time, because this is going to definitely be a part 2. Peace.
It's